injected into my veins. MVP odds, there was a flip-flop from Maye and Stafford. Drake Maye now the favorite, Stafford, Dak. J-Lo didn't make Bruce ballot. That's interesting, bro.
Look at
those odds say this is a two-man race.
Yes.
Correct.
And one player just played out of his mind, and the other guy had 3 turnovers. Danny, do you think the MVP is Drake Maye's to lose?
No, I don't. I think those odds flipping like that is maybe instructive on what we should be paying attention going forward. Like, this is a vote that is shaped largely by narratives voted on by 50 humans, right? And so, like, the things that shape narratives, national television games have an outweighed importance in that.
That's true.
And so Drake Maye balled out on national TV, and he was awesome. Like my eye test, I didn't need to see the box score. I didn't need to, like, it was just, he looks like an NFL star. He looks like an MVP. These throws are great. Probably 25 teams around the league at least are just jealous that that guy isn't on their team. But the rest of the way, you guys have no more national TV games. You have big games that we'll talk about. Like, we'll talk Pats, Bills, we'll talk Pats, Ravens, but 1 p.m. Eastern games. The Rams have 3. They've got 3 more national TV windows. They got the Falcons on Monday night. They've got...
Ooh, that's great for Stafford.
Yeah. They've got Rams Seahawks, the rematch.
That might hurt Stafford. Like that can work in both directions.
Right, exactly. If he plays great, it's, oh my God, he did that on national TV against the top 3 defense on Thursday night, the rematch of that great game from a couple of weeks ago. And then they've got the America's Game of the Week, the 425 game on Fox against the Lions in a couple of weeks. So there's 3 more basically standalone windows for Stafford, I think, to win or lose it. And then the last thing, just based on the narrative, I do think Ty is going to go to the veteran.
You do?
I do. Like, even though it feels like Maye is doing more with less, which would put the emphasis on value, 37-year-old guy, he's won a Super Bowl, we've known him for forever. It's like the last thing in his career that he doesn't have. I could see veteran sports writers kind of crowning Matt Stafford with an MVP.
Yeah, that's happened. Look, I'm an NBA voter for MVP. Sometimes that happens. You know, a guy's had a great career, hadn't won an MVP, and that's fair. And the other stuff about the national TV games stuff you said was fair as well. I still, though, think Stafford should be the MVP right now. If it ended right now, there's a lot of games left, and Maye could pass him because he closed the gap yesterday. But I said earlier, Danny, Stafford has played 1 fewer game than Drake Maye and has 9 more passing touchdowns. So I think he clearly on the field, I get it that Maye's statistics in other areas are better, but on the field, to me, it's clearly Stafford right now. Now, I do think what you said, the argument for Drake is he does not have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
No doubt.
Or even Kyron Williams as his running back. Nor does, I mean, obviously Josh McDaniels is a great play caller, so I won't go with the coaching with McVay. But his players are a lot less as far as the weapons than they have in Los Angeles. So I think that's a factor. Then last year, winning 4 games and bringing that team all the way back that nobody, I know you guys picked them to make the playoffs, but nobody really foresaw this coming. And he's with his head coach for the first time. Like we always talk about switching coordinators, switching coaches, how that affects players. I mean, a lot of people, obviously it didn't go well under Jerod Mayo last year, but a lot of people hate to see the quarterback in his second year switch head coaches. I know it's working out in Chicago too. But all of those things are check marks in on Drake's side. But I think on the field it's been Stafford.
What's your case that Drake Maye's been better?
My case that Drake Maye has been better is probably the improvement that we saw in Drake Maye. And I know that's sort of like it's not the most improved, but Stafford has been doing this. And now he's doing it like a little bit better. It's great. And maybe that doing it a little bit better is now he throws the ball to Devontae Adams, over a dozen times in the red zone, these little 5-yard unstoppable routes that McVay designs. I do think narratively that the odds have shown that the numbers might not really matter. if he has more touchdowns and Drake Maye has a better completion percentage, just no one really cares about, like, then it's like, all right, your touchdowns don't really matter. We're leaning towards Drake Maye.
Some of the analytics actually do favor May. Like the EPA per dropback stuff, that actually is.
But it's like raw touchdown. Like,
can we show their season-long numbers? Because here's what it is.
May's got him beat most.
But so it is. But if you look, this is not what I was
current
talking
playoff
about.
team.
This is, but we could show this too. This is fine. Because this is where I will bring up the strength of schedule, and this is where I think it is fair. Just like I think it is totally fair to say, hey, one guy's doing it with Diggs off an ACL, and if we could go back to that graphic for a second, I think it's totally fair to say Diggs is doing it off an ACL, and Booty is, a revelation, while the other guys has Puka and Devontae. That's a totally fair mark for May. A fair mark for Stafford is they have played the second most games against current playoff teams.
That's pretty
good.
good.
The Patriots have played the second fewest games against current playoff teams. And against current playoff teams, and now obviously not all of them have great defenses, but he is cooked. 23 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Drake, while those numbers are not bad, and the team is 2-0, his passer rating for the year is what, 111?
Yep.
So, so that to me is, when we're parsing it, that is a more fair thing to bring up as not an indictment, but as a mark for Stafford over May than it is about an indictment on the Patriots being not a real 11-2 or whatever it is. Because you play who's on your schedule and you don't have to apologize for it. But the MVP is a subjective award where I think it is totally fair to bring in the soft points of, like you're saying, improvement, preseason expectation, how hard the path has been, and Stafford carving up the toughest division in football. And go ahead.
No, if I was to ask you, I was like, as quickly, as efficiently as possible, tell me why the Rams are having a great season.
I would say Stafford's having the best year of his career.
Okay.
That's honestly, I honestly do believe that. I don't think this is a small jump for Stafford. I think Stafford's been to what, like you always talk about, 2 Pro Bowls. Stafford has never, ever had a season where people were like, you know what? This year he is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I think for the majority of this season, he's been the best quarterback in the league.
I thought you were going to start like, well, look, it's Stafford, and then we team with McVay, and Puka's made a huge leap, and Devontae's having it, and the defense is top 5. Whereas the Patriots, like, it's Drake Maye.
No, see, I don't. But honest to God,
a dash of variable.
No, I think the biggest difference for the Patriots this year is Vrabel. So, like, if they had kept Gerard Mayo,
totally.
I do not think that there is any world where we're talking about Drake Maye as MVP.
That's fair.
I don't know, man. Drake Maye he's awesome. Why I love this MVP debate is, like, last year was fun, but Lamar and Josh were peers. Like, we saw some, like, Brady Rodgers, like Brady Manning. This is the 37-year-old against the second-year pro. Like, the idea of, like, Drake Maye winning an MVP this early in his career and what it could possibly be is just exciting for the next crop of quarterbacks.
Quickly, before we go to Top 10 Tuesday, I also kind of like that Drake Maye doesn't want it. I'm okay with it. I'm just saying he's not pining for it.
Yeah.
So he was asked about in Tampa Bay, there was Patriots fans in Florida, and they were like, wow, what do you think about the MVP chance? He's like, those are probably for Baker. He's having a heck of a year. So he's very on brand. If he doesn't get it, it's not going to kill me. I think it's like there's.
Well, you're going to want to walk away. Here's the thing. If people weren't watching, 2 hours and 10 minutes ago, Kevin Wildes talked about the Patriots being in the midst of a dynasty.
I didn't say in the midst.
This is a wild
I didn't say we're in the midst. I said that there's a lot of dynasty.
You made some weird OSHA thing about it.
It wasn't a weird OSHA thing. It was not a weird OSHA thing. I was not out there at all.
Regardless, this is what I was trying to say to the audience, if I may. Kevin Wildes is already on the multiple championships, including back-to-back for the Patriots, which is requisite for any NFL dynasty. And you are so far out there, you're like, you know what? If he doesn't win MVP this year, it's fine. He'll get plenty more.
He'll get 3 in the next 5.
Yeah, and so I hope you guys walk away as with the Denzel Washington line you like. I'm leaving here with something. I hope you leave here with something, and not just you were the 1 seed on December 2nd.
I'm not saying we are a dynasty. I'm just saying there's a lot of elements that if I hated dynasties, I'd be like, this place stinks. But Danny, you've always been a fan of the Chiefs.
And you also said you would never doubt them.
Well,
You wrote a whole
correct.
letter.
Top 10 Tuesday.
that was
Right, you did.
ages ago, Nick. Things change. Welcome to the top 10 for the best defense in the NFL.
I like this.
The Houston Texans. It's just how I feel about you today. And Houston, in a way, kind of the anti-Bears and the anti-Patriots. Look at their schedule. They have only played one team, the Titans, and they played them twice, who would not be in the playoffs today.
Yeah, they're
10 of their 12 games are against teams that if the playoffs started today would be in the playoffs. They have held those 10 teams to 18.5 points per game.
Wow.
It's the best defense in the NFL. Apologies to the Seahawks.
They'll have 2 games. Once they play the Chiefs, it'll be 2. It'll be the Titans
Yeah,
and the
that's
Chiefs.
right. The Titans and the Chiefs. Lump them together. Going back to number 9, the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick, I've loved your 3 and out graphic for them because it's jarring to see the company they keep. They almost have more 3 and outs this year than scoring drives, which just, if you instead of thinking about it, they have almost as many 3 and outs as field goal drives. It just seems impossible for the talent of the offense, and they just got punked by the Chicago Bears. Maybe they'll be making a debut on Top 10 Tuesday.
Well, they better be.
Well, we'll see.
They're
We'll-
number 1 seed.
I mean,
we build
what
them?
type of team?
It's not standing.
The number
Maybe
one
the Chiefs are
seed.
going to appear. Maybe the
This
Bears
guy
are
has
going
a
to appear.
framed picture of shirtless Ben Johnson in his office, and maybe the Bears are in the top
I
8.
replaced it as the background on my phone.
Yeah.
Who knows? Coming in at number 8, the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, this is shocking. to
It'll get
everyone.
there. Yeah, it
That
broke the
is
screen.
shocking.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Now, this is also maybe a little out there. But if the first 13 weeks of the season, we looked at it as the preseason.
Yes.
And then everybody was 0-0.
I sign up for it.
I know you signed up for it. But would it be ridiculous to say that the Cowboys are a team that can win the NFC? They look awesome right now.
Yeah.
The defense is improving. The offense is spectacular.
I like that.
Dak is playing at an MVP level. It's just they've beaten the last 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl the last couple of weeks, in the Chiefs and Eagles. Very impressed with what they're doing. Coming in at number 7, bruised Packers. That game against the Lions is the idealized version of this team. That's one of the best games I've ever seen from Jordan Love. It was the first game of his career where he had 4 touchdowns and no turnovers, so he eliminated the bad plays and he maximized the big plays. He was killer on 4th down. Their defense is the best in the NFL the last 5 weeks, allowing 15 points per game. That version of the Packers can win the Super Bowl. At number 6, staying right where they were, the Denver Broncos. They're 5-0 when Bo Nix has a passer rating of under 85. That makes no sense. They have 6 wins by 3 points or less, tied for the most in NFL history through 12 games. It doesn't feel like they're as good as they are, but their defense is really good and they keep winning, so they get to hang out in the 6th spot. Coming in at number 5, welcome to Top 10 Tuesday, the Chicago Bears. The motto, Nick, as you know, it's my ringtone.
Don't.
Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best. So let's look at the good for the Chicago Bears if we can. It's pretty good. 8th in scoring, 6th in time sacked after being sacked 68 times last year, 6th in yards, 6th in third down. You would agree, Brew? It's good.
Pretty
6th. Let's look at better. Okay. First, 2nd, 4th. How do you get better? What could the best possibly be? Well, you guys mentioned it earlier. The 1 seed, baby! The playoffs in the NFC goes through Chicago.
Why is
he at a
why is that the picture?
What do you mean? Because that's what he did to
what's
celebrate.
the best.
That's the best picture we can find.
That's the best.
It's the best picture
That's
we
the
can find.
only thing you're number 1 in?
No, they were number 1 in
Vibes.
others.
We were number 1.
Shirtless speeches.
Shirtless speeches. Yeah. And you see the big number 1, it's for number 1 seed.
Yeah, no,
In the
you have
NFC.
that in common with Wilds' team.
Sean, you guys get it?
Dying to.
Oh, bring them on.
This is what you got.
That's what we got. That's what we got.
D'Amico Ryan's too. He's like, let us get hot.
Let's go,
Dan Campbell,
Right.
he might have started something he don't want to finish.
Dan Campbell. Oh, sure.
Andy Reid.
Any part of my coat.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4, My Super Bowl pick from before the year. The Buffalo Bills. Wide open AFC. They get in with Josh Allen. It's going to be tough to pick against them. But let's give some love to James Cook. Oh, they don't have any weapons. He's right behind Jonathan Taylor in terms of yards. Now, he's way back in rush touchdowns, but Josh Allen has 11 rush touchdowns. A little bit of a Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts situation from last year. James Cook has been spectacular this season. So that's how Buffalo can win. Josh Allen and James Cook running the ball. Coming in at number 3, Wilds' Patriots. Drake Maye is ridiculous, and the team is incredible, and yes, the AFC playoffs go through New England. But let's look at the company that Drake Maye is keeping. This is not second-year quarterbacks. 11 or more wins, a passer rating of above 110 in your first 13 games. It's not bad. It's Mahomes, Breeze, Peyton.
Mahomes twice.
Yeah, Mahomes twice, sorry.
You should have just put him on.
Brady and Rodgers. Mahomes says 2 times. Breeze, it says 2 times. Last 20 seasons. Pretty good company for Drake Maye.
Otto Graham territory.
I don't think Otto Graham had a great passer rating.
Otto Graham. I have stats about Otto Graham and Drake. I'm saving them for later.
Guys, save that for regulation, please. Seattle Seahawks come in at number 2, top 10 Tuesday. They are now the only team in the NFL. Top 3 scoring offense, top 3 scoring defense, and they have the best point differential in the NFL. Can't wait for the rematch at number 1. Not going to drop them too much for losing to the Panthers. Panthers.
Not drop him at all.
Yeah, not drop them at all. But I mean, the gap we talked about between Stafford and May.
I agree.
I think the gap between the Rams maybe closed a little bit, but the Rams still clearly to me the best team in the NFL. And as always, Brew, a perfect top 10.
Well, not quite.
Okay.
I don't mind you dropping my Ravens out. I thought you had them a little high. They were at 4 last week,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Lamar does not look good, and they
No,
gave up 32
They
points.
deservedly are
That was rough.
eliminated. However, I do have a problem with the Packers not being ahead of the Bears. I think the Packers are better. And you talked a little bit about Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is better than Caleb Williams.
Agreed.
Here are the numbers. The numbers aren't even close.
They're not.
Everything, he's whipping him. And his completion percentage is so low that it matters. Usually it doesn't matter because they're all,
does
you know.
matter.
That
That one does matter.
That one matters. And so now, to their credit, they do win. I don't want to say despite him because he's improving and he is a big part of it. But right now, Love is better. And then let's look at the defense comparison. You showed some graphics earlier. Obviously, the Packers defense is far and away better than Chicago. So I got a better quarterback. I got a better defense. I have a better team.
I don't know. We play the games.
Yeah, we're going to find out. You're right.
We're gonna find out. But also November 10th, Packers lost to the Eagles. November 28th, Bears blew out the Eagles. Transitive property of the NFL, Bears better than the Eagles.
One last thing to
Better
say
than
about that. Because the Packers have beaten the Lions twice.
Yeah.
What did the Lions do to Chicago?
Oh,
52 to
that was
21.
week 2.
It was this season.
We don't count week 2.
It wasn't even
We don't
week
count
1.
week two.
No, we
52
don't.
to
No, we don't count
21?
week
For the Bears, we don't count week 1 or week 2.
All right, so I have a couple minor issues. One is that you're a liar.
wow.
You came on this show and did a whole reading a letter. I solemnly swear, like we were in the Boy Scouts, I'll never doubt the Kansas City Chiefs. They're on the top 10, fine. I'm shocked, and I thought this is where you were going to go, so this isn't what I built out, that the Niners, just there's nothing new to get respect. Hey, all these injuries, multiple quarterbacks, toughest division in football, 9 wins, but you can't get any respect. But that's, again, those are just a moose bouche before I get to my real concern.
You lead with a liar. I can't imagine this is going.
So sorry. Has Danny's top 10 ever met Danny's title pie? Because I'm a little confused.
Okay.
And I'm going to,
Yeah, I can
because
help.
were you impressed? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
By the Broncos this weekend?
No, it didn't look great.
Okay.
Didn't look great.
So on Friday, before the Broncos played, a game that obviously didn't impress you,
Yeah, sure.
we go to old title pie from Friday, and you'll notice Broncos nary a slice.
Yeah.
Not even a 1%. Not cranberry sauce, no stuffing, no yams, no nothing.
Yeah.
None of it.
Sure.
And now we go to top 10 Tuesday,
Yeah.
and they're the 6th best team in football.
Things change.
But he just said, hold on.
Hold on a second, though.
It doesn't make sense, though.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Nick,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know about television and graphics, but
Yeah.
we can't go down to 1% on title pie. It doesn't show up graphically.
Can I tell you something?
5% was the
By
minimum.
the way,
I
the producers lied to you because I invented title pie and I've given out plenty of 1%
yeah, but you weren't
slices.
doing cranberry
Well,
sauce
yeah,
and
I'm
Brussels
sorry.
sprouts because
Yeah.
it wasn't a Thanksgiving
Okay.
plate. It was a
Yeah.
pie. Yours was just a pie chart. Mine was a plate. I was allowed to put 8 toppings on there.
Okay, well again, you were allowed to put 8.
All right.
Where are the Broncos?
Okay.
They're at 6.
Those are the top teams today. I can't see the Broncos winning a championship, but if the Chiefs get into the playoffs, I could see them winning a championship.
I think Title
Does
Pie
make sense.
and Top 10 Tuesday need to have a post-show meeting and hash it out.
Like again, the Colts were on title pie or the plate or whatever.
Yes, but
then
they lost and looked terrible.
Right, so
you
they're
just
not
said
on the
the
list.
Broncos didn't do anything to improve in your mind. But on Friday you had them out, and on Tuesday you have them in.
Stopped on Tuesday.
It's Top 10 Tuesday.
That's title pie.
Thank you, Wild. Someone gets it
Top 10
around
Tuesday.
here.
We did it Wednesday.
Calls
It could
me
be
a
different.
liar.
Yeah.
Well, you
that-
did lie. I mean, you did
I
an
mean,
oath. You're
I
like,
just-
I'll never doubt the Chiefs.
Were they
which
on
was
title
awesome.
pie plate?
Yeah.
The Chiefs were there. I believe in you,
there-
Chiefs.
there you go.
All right, gentlemen. Let's start with you, Willie.
Yep.
You think the hype around this team right now, too high, too low, or just right?
No, I think the hype is just right. I think because Dak is one playing like an MVP, and two, they finally have a defense that travels, right? So you're watching Dallas play with a little bit of balance and heart. I think the issue, if there has to be an issue, is this week is a pivotal game. They're going against the Lions team who's hungry and they understand what they're fighting for. But also on top of that, Dallas looks like a different team on the road. I have a graphic right here that'll show you. Dallas at home is great. Dallas away, shaky. They're 2-4 on the road, and their points drop a little bit. But I think if you talk about the way Dak's been playing as of late, Danny, I got to get you on board. He's in the MVP conversation. And he's 12-4 on the road. 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the road. So I know you don't want to buy into it.
No, it's not that. I just think the MVP conversation is different. I think, I said it in top 10, man. This is a weird thing, and this is just how my brain works, so maybe you guys who actually played the game will tell me that I'm insane. But like, if we got to just say everyone is 0-0, and the first 13 weeks were the preseason, and now we'll start here going forward, I think it would be totally reasonable to say the Cowboys are going to win the NFC. But that's just not how it works.
Right.
Like, they dug themselves too deep of a hole. So I think the hype around the resurgence is actually too low. Because I think they're one of the 10 best teams in the NFL right now. I just don't know that it's going to ultimately matter 6 weeks from now, Greg.
Yeah, so I'm with you in terms of what we see moving forward in terms of the Dallas Cowboys and their ability to win maybe next year. Because I think they might run out of time this year, obviously, because of the way they started. Dak alluded to that. But the hype is just right. This is a team that you better not let get in. If you are any of those teams in the NFC West, you better take care of business. And if you are definitely the Eagles, you need to take care of business. But this is a team, this game that we're going to see and watch Thursday night, it's two teams that are fighting for potentially the same spot. In the Lions, pending if everybody continues to have some semblance of success, the Lions, obviously, and they're at home. They just come off a tough loss on Thanksgiving. And you got the Cowboys, who they have the most belief out of anybody probably in the National Football League right now outside of New England. And rightfully so, because they feel like, man, we're pretty much a new team we're just hitting our stride. Dak alluded to it. They can protect, they can throw, they can run, they can get after the passer now, they can stop the run. They can do everything that you see great teams do. It just might be that they run out
Well,
of
I
time.
also say this: good teams stack wins, but dangerous teams have to go into hostile territory and win. And when you look at this Cowboys team, I feel like they can do that right now, which is, you've been on playoff teams, I playoff teams, and I know what we used to say in Pittsburgh, it's okay what you do at home, but can you step into Baltimore in cold weather and beat Baltimore in Baltimore? Can you step into Green Bay and win a game in Green Bay? If you can't do that, then you're like, okay, you're just a good team. Dangerous teams win these type of games, so this is a must-win for the Cowboys.
So Jerry Jones today on radio said that he thinks their cleaner path to the playoffs might be the division. So they're clearly going to need help.
Yes.
Like they're going to need Philly to collapse. They're going to need Philly to lose some games, because I don't know that the NFC is just really good.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that they can realistically get in as the wild card. And I just want to be very clear. I think Dak has been a top 3 quarterback in the NFL this year. I just think it's very hard to envision him winning MVP when
Of course.
the Rams and Patriots are going to be the 1 or the 2 seed in their respective conferences.
Right.
Like, it
it
is kind of a team award.
I just wanted you to put him in a conversation. For a while, we would have this conversation. You were just like, not at my table.
And rightfully so because of their record.
I hear you. Listen,
But you could have a late season push, and we're watching it.
you're right. Listen, no one is playing the position much better than him right now. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, but again, but that doesn't mean for me that he's in the MVP conversation because it's a team award. You mentioned Ravens and Steelers, so let's go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So here are the odds for the AFC North. Ravens, 2.5 to 1 favorite, 2.5 to 1 long shot, basically almost 3 to 1 long shot for the Steelers. Bengals still got a shot. Obviously, Browns got no shot. I was surprised, given that both of these teams are 6-6, and we can put up their remaining schedule here, that because I think Baltimore is better than Pittsburgh. I do. I think Baltimore's better. But if they're both 6-6, and that's what Pittsburgh has remaining, they obviously have both games against each other, but the non-games against each other, for Pittsburgh, they get Miami at home, at Detroit, and at Cleveland.
Still tough.
Right, okay, you say that's tough.
Yeah.
I assume you would agree, at Cincinnati, home against New England, at Green Bay is tougher.
Done.
Right? Like, Baltimore has the tougher schedule. And the Week 18 game is in Pittsburgh. And we can put up the graphic here. You know, this is a throw out the record books type of matchup. They always play each other tough. No matter who the quarterback, like since these guys have been the coaches, they score the same number of points, they gain the same number of yards, they force the same number of turnovers, and they win the same number of games. So it seems reasonable to me to think that they're going to split these last 2 games. I think Baltimore's better, but I don't think they should be a 2.5 to 1 favorite to win the AFC North, given that they're both 6-6.
I'm with you, DP. I don't buy it. And we also got to understand this. We watched Joe Burrow jump off the training table and make the Ravens look like junior varsity, right? We watched that. That just happened. We had a whole show about it, right? Joe Burrow's back. On top of that, we also watched how the Steelers responded by losing to Green Bay and coming back the next week and beating the Colts. And so I have faith in my Steelers, because I'm alumni, if you will, that they will respond against the Ravens, that they will show up, and solely because of what Aaron Rodgers have said as of late. Like, listen, this isn't a scheme issue, this is an accountability issue. These are the type of games, if you're a grown man who loves the sport of football, you now step up because your character and will be tested this week against the Ravens. As you just mentioned, this isn't about records, this isn't about history. This is about if you shoot them, you got to shoot them now, because both teams are going to give you all they got, and because they're dead even, this is about who wants it more. And I expect my Steelers to have it.
Yeah, I'm shocked that the Ravens have this advantage, and largely because the Steelers have been here before, where they've been forced to win without great quarterback play, without great offensive production. They seem to always find a way, because their key ingredient to success has always been defense.
Yes.
Always been defense. Where Baltimore, you look at where and why they're struggling right now, currently, it's because of number 8, Lamar Jackson. They have not been here before.
Yeah, they both have injured quarterbacks who wear number 8.
And we're looking at this Baltimore Ravens team saying, man, the defense is getting better, we think, but they haven't really been playing great offenses. But Lamar Jackson is clearly been worse. And so if we're basing it off of just that type of production and what they're not going to get out of what they're usually very dependent upon getting, then you got to give the edge slightly to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, so I'll say, I know I'm the gambler here. I made the bet today at nearly 3 to 1 odds Steelers to win the division. Like, I think the Ravens should be favored because I think the Ravens are better, but it should be a lot closer than those odds
And we also have to note there's a lot of drama around this game, right? Because the middle of the season, especially the beginning and middle of this season, we talked about Harbaugh being in the hot seat. Mike Tomlin's in the hot seat right now. So as much as we want to talk about how this team has to respond, he needs to respond as well. So it's going to be a goodie.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.